This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks drop one tonight to the Charlotte Hornets as their 9-game win streak comes to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. It's not a good loss. I mean, most of the time, a loss isn't good, but not a good loss for me, folks, because I felt like, especially down the stretch of the game when the game got tight, I didn't feel like the Knicks had the urgency needed to win the basketball game. And I know Alan Hahn and some other people said they were tired, but I mean, it's the NBA. It's not like they were on the second night of a back-to-back or why? You know what I mean? I mean, you gotta, I get it. They had a double overtime win versus the Boston Celtics. They had to travel back to New York. It's not that far of a ride. So it's not like it was forever. To me, my humble opinion, they felt like they were going to pull this game out just because they were on the floor. That's the way I felt about it. You know what I'm saying? Down the stretch of the game, I just did not see the urgency to win it. I guess that could be due to being tired. It could be. But my opinion, if you're going to be a winning team, if you want to catapult yourself into being one of the top teams, you got to beat these teams like this, in my opinion. You got to beat them so that you stay pace with the Cleveland Cavaliers and so on and so forth. But you know what? It happens. It happens. It happens. I got my man Tony Crow in the building. We're going to break this one down, folks. The Knicks lose to the Charlotte Hornets. Tony, what's popping, man? How you feeling? Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, tough, bad loss, horrible loss, but it happens, and it happens to the best of them. So, I ain't going to harp and gripe and let them have it. And I didn't even see the whole game. Mm-hmm. So the last thing I saw, they was up 15. I was driving home. I lost signal. So by the time I got home, it was about 5 minutes left. And
yeah,
I saw the end, and I didn't think it was going to be the end of the streak, but it was. So.
Yeah, I mean, we knew a loss was coming. I didn't want it to be to the Charlotte Hornets. You know what I'm saying? To me, it shouldn't have been to the Charlotte Hornets. The Knicks are better than the Charlotte Hornets. But it was going to come at some point in time. And it so happens that it came tonight. Now the Knicks are going to head out, go on a West Coast trip. And the thing that I don't want to happen, though, is I don't want the Knicks to now go on a losing streak, right? Because they've built up some separation between them and the Nets, them and the Miami Heat. They gained some ground on the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they go on a losing streak, if they lose 5 in a row or something like that, and we've seen them do it several times this season, they go on a losing streak, well, there's not that many games left. You know what I mean? And so then teams are closing the gap. And I don't want that to happen. I want to see them get right back to it and win. You know what I mean? That's what's going to matter to me the most. Can they get right back to it and start winning again? You know what I mean? The Knicks are now, 13 39 and 28
28.
on the season, right? They have a chance if they want to get to 50 wins. I don't know if that's a goal or not. They want to get to 50 wins. They'll have a chance still. But they got to get right back on the horse and start winning basketball games. Tough one, man. Tough one. The Knicks were led in scoring by R.J. Barrett tonight. Right? R.J. Barrett, 27 points tonight. He shot 41% from the field. He shot 14% from the three-point line. He was 6 for 8 from the free throw line. 24 shot attempts from R.J. Barrett tonight. There were points in the game where he had it going. Then there were points in the game where he didn't really have it going. You know what I mean? There were points in the game with Gordon Hayward, and me and Andy talked about it in the game preview. We talked about Gordon Hayward. There were points in the game where Gordon Hayward really had it going. And as a matter of fact, Gordon Hayward, he was a tough cover in the second half of the game. A really tough cover in the second half of the game. I just felt like the Knicks were just a little bit, I don't want to say that they were full of themselves, but I feel like they felt like they were going to win this basketball game hands down. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, that wasn't the case. 27 points for R.J. Barrett, 16 points for Julius Randle, a rare off night for Julius Randle. You know what I mean? Julius Randle normally, every night Julius Randle is giving you, he's playing tough basketball every single night. Tonight, Julius Randle, 16 points, 29% from the field, 22% from the three-point line tonight for Julius Randle, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. But there was a point in the game, especially in that second quarter, the second quarter, the second unit, they came through and they were really, they were really hooping. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks scored 45 points in that second quarter. So they was balling. And Emmanuel quickly, Julius Randle, he was distributing the basketball at that point in the game. Guys were knocking down shots. Things look like, this is going to be another easy one for the Knicks. And you know what? I'm not even going to lie. Throughout the game, when the Charlotte Hornets were making runs, there were points where I didn't even get excited. I was like, the Knicks will pull it out. Kind of had that feeling going on. Mitchell Robinson, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Quentin Grimes, 12 points, 4 rebounds. Emmanuel Quickly, 14 points, 5 assists. Josh Hart had 10 points and 8 rebounds on the night. The Knicks only scored 105 points. The Charlotte Hornets kept the Knicks to 105 points. Knicks shot 42% from the field. They shot 27% from the three-point line. Not a good basketball night for the Knicks. Tony, what's your biggest concern with this game and where the Knicks go?
I got to rewatch it, I guess, but I'm not concerned, to be honest. Even if they took them lightly, which I actually don't think they did, because all year that hasn't been their trend. You know what I mean? This is probably the first year where they kind of beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But I'm pretty sure, given who the Sacramento is, you know what I mean, they're gonna be up for the task, and where they're trending, where their record is in the West, and things like that. That's our next opponent, right?
Sacramento.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So and especially we tend to play better on the road. Like there's a bunch of factors that make me less concerned. Now, let's see how that game turns out, and that may change. My thought pattern. But right now, I'm not too concerned. I didn't see the whole game, but if they laid the egg tonight, you know what I mean. I don't think that's going to be the pattern. Now, can the next team beat us? and it's a hard fought game, and like that's different. But like you know what I mean, we gonna fight. You know what I mean. We not giving up. We not
Yeah, well,
folding.
I'm not concerned about us not fighting. You know what I mean? I know we're gonna fight. I do feel like tonight, I just feel like they got a little relaxed. They were too relaxed. Like I said, I just didn't see the urgency from them. You know what I mean? It was down to, the last couple minutes of the game, and, just the body language looked to me like we're gonna pull it out. We got this.
Well,
You know what I'm
well
saying?
let's
I
hope
didn't see the urgency.
let's hope Brunson is 100% moving forward. Because I think that'll, I mean, that could be a determining factor as well. They could have used his poise down the stretch as well. So
Yeah. And I feel like I definitely believe that they're going to fight. You know what I mean? And I'm sure nobody knows better than those guys whether or not they relaxed or not. You know what I'm saying? They know if they relaxed in tonight's game. You know what I'm saying? They know, if they took the Hornets a little bit too light. And if they did so, they would definitely respond in the next game, with more effort, more urgency, more energy. The reason why, I mentioned them that they've got to fight off against going on a losing streak is because they play better competition coming up. You know what I'm saying? And there was always a chance that they could lose a couple of games coming out to the West Coast. You know what I mean? Because of who they play. And so now, you lost a game. It's feasible that you could lose versus the Sacramento Kings. It's feasible that you could lose to the Los Angeles Clippers, right? Because that was feasible before this game. And now all of a sudden you're on a 3-game losing streak. That's why I think it's important. The next game for me is really important. So they get back on the winning streak if they wanna fight, really be in the battle and be in the hunt for that 4th seed. You know what I mean? And not go on. You seen when the Knicks went on an 8-game win streak earlier in the season, they came back,
followed it by 5.
followed it
Yeah,
with a 5-game losing streak. You know what I mean? That's the type of thing that I really want to ward off from the Knicks doing over the next couple of days. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you, man. I'm just I haven't lost confidence based off of this game. You know what I mean? That's kind of the stance that I'm trying to take. And again, I didn't see probably the worst part of the game where they blew the lead. You know what I mean? Because last I seen it was up 15, and next you know they going back and forth. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing was the Hornets are the ones that looked like they had the energy. You know what I'm saying? When it came down the stretch of that game, the Hornets were the ones that had the fire and the desire. That's the thing that I felt like was kind of missing from the game, the fire and desire. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. I felt like from the way that their body language, like they felt like, oh yeah, we'll pull it out. We'll get it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's a lesson learned. If that was the case, maybe that's a lesson learned. You know what I mean? Tonight, the Knicks were out-rebounded 42-39. Charlotte Hornets, 27 assists. The Knicks, 18 assists. 2 steals for the Hornets, 3 for the Knicks. 5 blocks for the Hornets, 4 for the Knicks. Both teams took care of the ball for the most part. 10 turnovers for the Hornets, 8 for the Knicks. The Hornets just shot the ball way better, right? 49.4% from the field, 37.5% from the three-point line, 76.2% from the free throw line. The Knicks, 42.7% from the field, 27.5% from 3, 75% from the free throw line. Points in the paint, Charlotte outscored the Knicks 54-52 points in the paint. Second chance points, Charlotte 15, the Knicks 12. Fast break points, the Knicks 11, and Charlotte 7. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks drop one to the Charlotte Hornets. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What's up, Sim? What's up, Tony? This is Oliver. I live in the Boston area. I've called the show a couple times before, so Just checking in.
Yeah, what's going on,
Peace.
Oliver? How you feeling, bro?
Oh, good. Honestly, I think like you guys are trying to say, not going to read too much into this loss. I'm looking forward to the playoffs with this team and trying to see the bigger picture and what's been the common, factor with this team's success in the past 3 seasons. To me, it's been Julius Randle. I remember calling last year and we were talking about trading him when his stock was very low. Obviously his stock is back up again this season, and right now it's damn near an all-time high. And looking at this game in specific, he was 5 for 17 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. That's just subpar. That's just not going to get it done.
Right.
Then combo that with RJ 10 for 24, quickly 5 for 16. That's just not going to get it done. It doesn't really matter who you play in the league. That's a losing formula, right?
Right. Exactly.
So my question for you guys is do you trust Julius Randle as good as he's been this year? And he definitely has been great this year, potentially all NBA quality play this year. Do you guys trust him come playoff time? Especially after 2 seasons ago when he's had a bad series against the Hawks. Do you guys trust him going into the playoffs this year?
Can I go first, Tim?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I trust the team. So I trust the addition of Brunson is gonna make Randall better. I think it has made Randall better, so I don't think that's gonna falter in the playoffs. Now, I don't even want to say that. I'm gonna leave my thoughts, negative thoughts out. So yeah, along with Brunson, I think Randall will be fine.
Yeah, I trust him because of Brunson. Right, I feel that Jalen Brunson just relieves a lot of pressure from Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? And so if they're trying to send double teams or doing quasi double teams on Julius Randle, I feel that Jalen Brunson's going to be able to get inside the paint and score. Right, so Jalen Brunson's ability to score, his ability to run the show out there on the floor, kind of be the brain on the floor, the coach on the floor, I think really does relieve some pressure from Julius Randle, and now allows him to, do more one-on-one play, not have the pressure of handling the ball, kind of being the do everything guy. He doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? So I do trust him in the playoffs. And then there are things he didn't shoot well tonight, but there are things that I'm seeing him do lately that help me build more trust in his ability to close down the stretch. He's been knocking his free throws down the stretch. Right? He's, over the past few games, he's been able to hit big shots come down the stretch. You know what I mean? So I'm building more trust in his ability to play down the stretch.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I just feel like that Miami game, if he misses that 3, the narrative would be different because he had that turnover. Was it the play or two before he had that turnover?
Before? Yep.
And he almost turned it over before he hit that shot. He almost turned it over, but he did recover. I'm not gonna take away from him because he did recover.
And he was getting fouled too. He was getting fouled. Butler was, banging him, and the ref wasn't calling anything. You know what I mean? So
that's playoff basketball, though, right?
No doubt.
Especially come playoffs, just looking at the playoffs, it gets more physical, and refs may let stuff go too.
Right. You know what I mean? I thought down the stretch of this game too, I thought there were 2 critical calls that hurt the Knicks. I'm not saying it's the reason that the Knicks lost. For me, it's it's what I said before. The reason why the Knicks lost, no urgency, but the foul that they took away from Gordon, I thought he did foul RJ Barrett. Actually, I thought he fouled him twice. I thought he fouled him first when he reached for the ball.
I did too, and they even reviewed it. I was so surprised at that. He hit him on the arm. How is that not a foul?
I don't know how that wasn't a foul. And before that, he reached and grabbed his arm, and then when he contested the shot, he hit his arm and made the shot come up short. Not clear. I don't understand how they didn't call that a foul. And then they called an offensive foul on Mitch. And he set a clean screen. I mean, he wasn't moving.
I know.
He wasn't bending forward. He was set still. Boom. and they called
He
an
was
offensive foul
wide.
on him.
The only thing, agreed. The only thing I could see there, his legs were a little wide. Maybe they were penalizing him for that, but I agree. I didn't see a foul on that either.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I thought those two calls were bad calls, and I don't remember if they went back and scored. But it erased, I think the Knicks were maybe up 5 when RJ Barrett would have went to the line and possibly put the Knicks up 7.
Mm-hmm.
Those were 2 bad calls. I thought those were 2 really bad calls.
And it's hard to argue it at this point because they really reviewed that, especially the RJ one. That even got reviewed. So, the league looked at it and
Right.
overturned the call. So
Right.
It's, hard to even argue it. But
Right.
I swear that looked like he hit him on the arm.
Yeah. I don't know about that one there, but not much we can do. The Knicks took the loss tonight, man. Hopefully they get back on it. They play Saturday versus the Sacramento Kings. I think it's Saturday, right? Or maybe it's before then.
I think we play Thursday, don't we?
Do we play Thursday?
It's on the 9th. What day is the 9th? Is that Friday?
Oh, okay. No.
3-9 at
Yeah,
Sacramento.
that's the 9th. And then Saturday they play an early game. So, yeah, they play Sacramento on the 9th. So they play on Thursday.
On TNT, too, on that.
Yeah. They'll have a chance. They'll have a chance to get back in that, get back into the winning column on Thursday. So we'll see what they're able to do.
Yep. National TV, too. It's on TNT.
Yeah, it is. All right. But, hey, Oscar, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the call.
Oh, that game is late.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Love
it.
the content. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be a late game. Sacramento should be, that game shouldn't start until like 10 o'clock or something. Well,
I'm going to miss it.
That's going to be a late game. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those late ones. IQ off of a great performance the other night, came back and had a normal performance, and then with Julius Randle not performing well, at least shooting well from the field, he got a little bit frustrated down the stretch of the game, felt like, he had 2 offensive fouls. He's been picking those up lately, and I feel like the referees are watching him on those, when he barrels himself to the lane and pushes somebody out the way to grab the rebound. I feel like the refs are really watching those. He did it to Terry Rozier. And players, of course, are going to do a little bit of acting on those too. You know what I'm saying? To help the referees call that foul. But Randall did get a little frustrated down the stretch with, the offensive fouls being called on him. Plus, he felt like he was fouled. Guys were holding him when he's trying to rebound, and those calls weren't going his way. You know what I mean? So Randall was a little bit frustrated tonight. A tough one for the Knicks. They'll have a plane ride out to Sacramento. They'll get a chance to talk about it. I think the Knicks will get right back on track, and I think that's going to be a good. It's going to tell you where they are. Every team is going to lose games, right? Every team's going to lose games. It's going to tell you where they are. If they're able to go to Sacramento and get a win, go to Los Angeles, get a win, I think it tells you where they are as a basketball team to get right back on the winning track without turning this loss into a streak. You know what I mean? If they can do that, that's really is the signs of a good team. And if they lose, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but I think if they go out there and they turn this right back around and start winning right away, I think it tells you where they are mentally and how much better they can be. You know what I mean? If they're able to do that. Sacramento's going to be a tough game, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? They're a high-scoring team, one of the top teams in the Western Conference right now, and they're a surprise. Both teams, both teams are a surprise to the NBA right now. You know what I mean? Both teams are a surprise. No one expected the Knicks or the Sacramento Kings to be where they are. The Knicks in the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, the Sacramento Kings in the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. All right, now Sacramento, they're 38-26. The Knicks are currently 39-28. The Knicks win the West, they'd be the third seed. They win the Western Conference. As a matter of they'd be the third seed in the Western Conference. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, man, it's Jay from South Carolina, man.
Hey, what's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling all right, man. I mean, we won 9 games, you know. Everybody has to lose at some point, and most of the time it ends up being a trap game. We looked at this team. I listened to a lot of people talking after the Boston game, you know, back and forth with the different shows, and some people was like, well, we really don't need Brunson because we have Quickly, and we should be just fine without him. And you know, I took that as you can't just go game after game after game, even though Quickly is a great player and he has a high ceiling. And I think he's going to be great for us moving forward. We need to restart him. But JB is there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I believe games like this tonight, when you run into these trap games or games with JB, does not fall for the trap game trick. You know, because he's always about staying focused and let's win. And I just was looking at them the whole night. They just didn't look engaged. You know, like I heard the other callers say, besides RJ, I think as you said it too. RJ seemed like the only one the whole night, him and Mitch, that was truly engaged in really being there.
Right.
You know, the bench came in, they did well, but it seemed like, you know, the other starters, like from Julius to Grimes to the rest of them, didn't really seem like they took this game so seriously. But sometimes you got to come back to earth, you know, to take back off in that rocket ship. So, you know, I just think sometimes it's not good to lose, but sometimes, you know, you need this, especially going out west, because now they should be hungry again.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to them being hungry again.
And that's a key right there. You know what I'm saying? You getting fed, and you're not as hungry. You know what I mean? But, you know, once that food gets taken away, all of a sudden you're hungry again. So hopefully, you know, that's what happens. And you need a lesson every once in a while, you know? And hopefully that's what it was tonight.
You're exactly right. Because when you got ESPN talking about the Knicks, you know there's a problem. You know, like I was just watching it, like after the Boston game, it's like, you know, Stephen A with the pom-poms, and I'm like, hold on, this ain't good. You know, I think I watched Tony and the Queen and them the other night, and I'm trying to remember his name. I like him too, but he was like, I think we should just rest Preston. They was going back and forth about it. And I was like, wow, I don't like the way he said that. I'm like, that kind of came out like we've arrived. And I'm like, you know what? This is a team that they said was going to win 37 games. We've overachieved that already, you know, but we still have a little ways to go. So let's just stay focused. Be grateful for what we have, because what we have is a beautiful thing. And like I think I said the other night to somebody, I said, man, we playing with house money. It's like we went to the casino, we put down $10, now we got 10,000. We playing with house money. So what all the critics say and all the haters say about we may not do this, we may not do that, well, according to y'all, we wasn't going to do nothing. So now they're going to keep reversing this narrative on if they don't beat Cleveland, if they don't get out the first round. Look, all of that's good and great. But if you looked at our performance last year to the way we play now and the pieces we have added, I think we're in beautiful shape moving towards the future. I think we finally built a team that would be capable of luring another star here. So, I mean, it's all in your perspective. I would love to win a championship this year, but I would love to win multiple ones 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Nah, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Yeah. The only thing I would say.
And I listen to you talk a lot. You don't get beside yourself with it, like, because I guess that's that coaching you too.
Yeah, that's the coach in me.
Observing what you have.
That's the coach in me for real, because you know, like a team could be going a team could be playing terrible basketball, and one thing happens, and it turns around. Next thing you know, they're playing great basketball, and they're winning 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. A team could be playing great,
Right.
and something happens, and boom, things start to go bad. It can be that minute. I mean, just a little small thing can change things, man. It's you never know. You never know. The only thing I would say about the Brunson thing is, I didn't mind that he was going to sit out, because I too, and maybe this is where I was eating too much too. I felt like the Knicks could win this game without Brunson, and I just wanted Brunson to. I don't want him to come back and he's not fully healthy, because I know we need him in the playoffs.
That.
You know what I mean?
I would fully respect that, Sam. I had no problem if he sat because he wasn't healthy. But what I was noticing, like I say, there was a lot of just let him sit. And I was like, no, if the man can go, you keep him in rhythm. You keep your team in rhythm, you let him go. But I get exactly what you mean. If he's not healthy, the last thing we need to do is go on a 4-game road trip out west. And we played him against the Hornets, and he wasn't ready to go.
Right.
Now he's not ready to go for 4 more games.
Right.
So I fully understood that. That's why I said they was going back and forth. I said, but I just didn't like the angle of we don't need him now.
Yeah, nah.
And then there was some people like, don't worry. Quickly got that. Like, it was light work. But what you got to understand, you playing a team like Charlotte, whose season is over. They're not making no playoffs. There ain't no chance of it. And guess what? They just won today. Their championship.
Right. Exactly.
That was their championship. If you look at their faces when the game was over, that was their championship.
Yeah. I feel you. That's and that's how they'll play when you play a team like Charlotte like that, because the players, they don't want to hear nothing about tanking. They don't care about that, right? They want to go out and win, and if they can't go out and upset a team, that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? Because they're competitors. You know what I mean? And
they the hottest team in the game.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, my man, thank you for the time.
Without Melo Ball.
Right, exactly. Without LaMelo. But hey, I appreciate your time, bro. Thank you for the time.
Love your show, man. Tell Tony, man. I love that losing corner too. That was amazing.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was amazing. I was watching that in the morning on my way to work the other day.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Amazing.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Stay up.
You too. Appreciate you, brother. Peace. Yeah. Tony, how was you feeling about Jalen Brunson not playing today?
I mean, my stance was if he's still ailing, then sit. You know what I mean? The reason I was against sitting him just to sit him was because of the minutes that everybody else played. You know what I mean? Because of the double overtime, but you know what I mean? Because of the everybody been playing a lot of minutes. So but yeah, I think if this gets him healthy for the next game, then it's well worth it either way.
Right.
Like if it gets him 100, like I didn't want him playing 80%, I didn't want him playing 90%. I want him 100%. So if this rest gets him to 100% for the next one, then I think that's the best way to go. Because don't put him at 80 and then he could risk something and then drop back to 60 or 75%.
Right.
You know what I mean? By tweaking something.
Right. Nah, I feel you. I do want to get to this here rebuild. NYK said, I feel like this team is overachieving. We have a couple of rotation guys that are not ready. Do you think the Knicks are overachieving, or do you think this is really the Knicks?
I don't think we're overachieving, because I feel like I felt like we were overachieving 2 years ago, and I don't feel the same way. Like it's a different vibe with this team. Brunson is definitely a big part of that. I think IQ's ascension, and again, this has little to do with his last game, but just to do with what I've seen overall from him this year. Rebounding better, passing better, defense better. Like he's been becoming a complete player.
Mhm.
Um, Grimes has been iffy, but I feel like he's a guy that can have 8 threes in a playoff game and win us a game, even coming off of a bad game prior to. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm not. I don't think we're overachieving this year. I think we're right back where we belong. You know what I mean? Based off of 2 years ago, even though we had the letdown last year, I think we're right where we belong,
Okay.
or close to it. You know what I mean? Because I still think we could get better this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I think we're overachieving? I don't. I don't. I think what we see from Jalen Brunson is real. I think what we see from Julius Randle is real. You know what I mean? And right now, those guys are the engines of the team. So I think those things are real. Could they both have a down year? Of course they could. Then could they come back and have a good year? They could do that as well, as we've already seen. So I don't think they're overachieving. You know what I mean? I don't think they're overachieving. I think they are a good basketball team. And the Knicks are going to need to add more for them to become a great basketball team. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're overachieving at all. I think they're a good basketball team. Now, we will see what happens. There's still games left in the season. We'll see if the Knicks can get back on that winning, get back winning basketball games. Now, if they go and they lose 5 or 6 in a row, then all of a sudden they bring themselves right back down to where they were when they started the 9-game win streak. You know what I mean? Walter White said the rotation guys had us in the lead with 7 minutes left. This was glorified practice, and Tibbs dropped the ball. All right, Walter White, tell me how Tibbs dropped the ball. I want to know how Tibbs dropped it, because I feel like, and maybe even including Tibbs, the entire team, I feel like they, didn't have the same amount of urgency to win this basketball game. But I'd like to know what did Tibbs do to drop the ball in this one? You know what I mean? I don't know what Tibbs, could he have made different adjustments out there? I guess. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to make shots to win games. The Knicks shot poorly from the floor. They shot poorly from the three-point line. Here we go. I think we got Walter on the line. Walter, are you there? Walter, you there?
I'm here. Damn, I ain't expect you to pick it up so quick. My bad.
Yeah.
Shout out #NBA King, NBK fam.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
I ain't expect you to call me off guard. Yeah, Randall. He put Randall back in the game with 6:48 left on the clock, and we was up 8. Obi hit a 3 and was pushing us up, and then we started not playing our game and deferring to Randall. And Randall wanted to facilitate, and the shots wasn't going in. But that's because we wasn't playing our normal, regular pass the ball around game, and we lost. I bet money on them, so I was watching them, and I've seen it. I seen it happen.
I mean, do you think
I heard
it was
a lot of people saying that.
I mean, do you think it was just that substitution?
Obi
had
up by 8.
I dig it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Obi had 3 points. No rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks.
You didn't see him playing defense though. What you watching is defense and him making the shots tough.
I mean,
he was up.
I get it, but I have to go back and look and see who was in the game, because I doubt he was doing it against the starting unit.
It was Mitch.
No, I'm talking about
IQ.
who was in the game for Charlotte. Because the second unit did
okay.
well. The second unit did well. We know that. The second unit did well tonight. You know what I mean? But what Obi was Obi doing it against PJ Washington?
He was doing it up until 6:48 in the game, and then we was up 8. And then Tibbs brought Randall back in the game, and that's where we lost. I don't know who was on the court for Charlotte. I just know we was up.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that I think we always got to pay attention to, though, because you can have Obi in the game and he's doing great, and then if another power forward comes in the game,
no, he wasn't doing great.
No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
My bad.
I get that. I'm just using this as an example. You can have Obi in the game or whoever in the game, and they're doing great, right? Or the second unit's doing great, or whoever, and they might be doing it against the other team's second unit. Right, but if you put our second unit versus another team's first unit, they might not look the same. You know what I mean? That's.
Well, I mean,
I don't know who was in the game at the time. I'd have to look and see who was in the game for Charlotte at the time to really see, what was going down. I don't know. Me, I just think the Knicks. I just think the guys didn't have the same urgency tonight. That's what I feel like.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact, but we still could have won. And we kind of needed this loss to get the media, the nationwide media, off our you know what, so they can relax. Because don't jump on the narrative that we winning, and we've been here, blood, sweat, and tears. And your previous caller was like, oh, I forget what he said, but I'm like, nah, bro, I've been a fan since 1990, and it ain't no like, you know what I mean? I've been blood, sweat, and tears with this, and I've been wanting to win, and I'm older, and I want to see a championship for the Knicks before we pass away. But we look good.
I feel you.
Good.
I feel you
know
on
what I mean?
that.
This was a lap for tonight, and we need to get it together. Tibbs need to, tighten up the rotations a little bit and get them a little bit more focused. And even when Julius Randle's on the floor, don't force the offense through him.
Yeah.
Especially we don't have Brunson. Just let him be on the floor. And don't try to, you isolate. IQ got a lane to go to the rack, but Randall come set the pick for him and stand right there for the ball. Set the pick and let him go free.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I watched all games. Randall was kind of like not really playing his game. He was on vacation. He was on practice time, and Tibbs didn't realize that. That's why I said this was glorified practice, and Tibbs dropped the ball.
Okay, I mean, so at 6 minutes and 38 seconds left in the fourth.
48.
Randall came in for Obi.
He was up 8. Yeah, he came in for Obi.
He came in for Obi. At the same time, the Hornets were bringing in P.J. Washington for Richards. And then they brought in Williams for Dennis Smith Jr., right? So they were bringing their starters back in the game. Now, how much confidence do you have that the Knicks bench, Obi and Hartenstein or whoever, was going to be able to play and compete against and keep a lead against Washington and Williams?
It's Charlotte. We got one of the best benches in the league, especially with the addition of Josh Hart. At least try to let them maintain the lead. At least see.
I mean, at this point,
I don't know. I'm not a.
At this point, the game was 97-89 when the substitutions came in. The Knicks were up 8. Then they went up 98-89, and then that's when the run started happening. At about 5 minutes and 57 seconds, that's when Charlotte really started going on a run.
And because I'm watching, Obi was engaged on defense, but Randall wasn't really. Like how he was engaged against Boston and exerting all his energy to try to like cover for his man and all that. He wasn't doing that tonight, but Obi was.
I mean, I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I just think we always got to see who is he engaged against. Because it's easy to look engaged when you're playing against one level of player. Then if a higher level of player comes in, the player might have the same engagement, but they might not look engaged because that player is better. We don't know because he didn't play against them. So.
Yeah, but we need to find that out. So Tibbs needs to let him play. It was a lot of fans saying that the Obi could be a starter in the league. I think he could play against starters. IQ come off the bench. I think he could play against starters. I mean, you got to let them get that opportunity, especially while we going into the playoffs and we playing against Charlotte. It's glorified practice. I mean, let them try, even if we lose.
But that's the thing. But see, that's the mentality right there. We're playing against Charlotte, so we can let Obi go extra minutes, so we can do this, so we can do that. But Charlotte beat us.
You're right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if Obi. Me personally, I would have put Randall back in.
I'm not trying to be Obi Hive. I'm just saying that when Randall came in the game, our offense started to go to the faucets of Randall, and Randall knew his shot wasn't falling, so he tried to make the passes, and we wasn't making the shots. Like, our offense kind of stalled, and he was trying, and he wasn't engaged on the defensive end.
Nah, I feel you there. I didn't feel like this team was fully engaged at all tonight. You know what I mean? Fourth quarter, the Knicks were outscored 25-16 in the fourth quarter. 25-16. And Charlotte only took 19 shots in the fourth quarter. The Knicks took 26, only shot 19%. But hey, Walter, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the call.
All right. No doubt.
Appreciate you, brother. Peace. Yeah, fourth quarter, man. Randall had 5 points in the fourth quarter. Josh Hart had 5 points in the fourth quarter, but still, Randall was only 25% from the field. He was 75% from the free throw line in the fourth quarter. Josh Hart, 1 for 2 from the field, 75% from the free throw line. Nobody else was able to score in the fourth quarter. You know, RJ had 2 points. Mitchell Robinson had 2 points. I mean, you're not expecting anything from Mitch anyway. Quickly, no points. Quentin Grimes, no points. You know, the Knicks couldn't get it done. They could not get it done in the fourth quarter. Again, I just felt there was the sense of urgency. You know what I mean? That the Knicks didn't bring the urgency that we've been seeing from them. And maybe it was tired legs, you know, or, you know, just an emotional letdown from that Boston win. You know, that's entirely possible. Shout out to Bronx Rail Fan 98. He said, the best Knicks podcast. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that without a doubt. Tony, what's your thoughts, man? I know you. I guess maybe you got to see the last 7 minutes. Would you have came back with Randall? I mean, I would have came back with Randall. He's been doing it all season long. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would have came back with him.
I mean, yeah, that's just the way it goes, and I understand what the dude was saying, Walter White. But if he like when you went through the 0-0-0, like he had 3 points and nothing else, you know what I mean? Sometimes that right there, he has to affect the game more to be put in that position to stay on the floor. Or even defensively, he may have been more engaged, but you gotta be, you know what I mean, blocking shots, you gotta be actually doing something on the stat sheet, I think, to be justified at that particular moment. And I'm not saying that like to knock on Obi at all. I didn't see it like that. But you know Tibbs is going back to Randall. Like you know what I mean? Like, so Obi really has to be doing something phenomenal for that not to be the case.
Right. And Josh asked, how do we know that Charlotte wasn't responding to Tibbs bringing Randall back into the game? I don't know. The only thing I know is this is around the time that most teams bring their starters back into the game. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the history of Tom Thibodeau, you know, I mean, he'll bring, if Obi's just not playing well or, you know, the second unit's not playing well, he'll bring, you know, starters back in the game. But also, when other teams bring their starters back in, Tibbs normally brings his in too, right? I mean, you've seen it plenty of times when when teams bring in their guys. Tibbs says, "Okay, I need Randall, so and so. You coming in because you got to guard that guy. You got to do whatever, right?" I don't know, but what I do know is I don't think our second unit was competing with their starting unit. That's what I think. I don't think they were competing with the starting unit. I mean, plus, Randall's been doing it all season long. You know what I mean? As a coach, I probably would have rocked with him too, especially if Obi wasn't giving you any rebounds, wasn't giving you any, no rebounds, no steals, no assists, no nothing else. Besides those 3 points, I probably would have went back to it too. So I just feel like the guys didn't bring the right sense of urgency to the game.
Josh just wanted to argue some.
I know. You know what I mean? He just wants to argue, play the antagonist, the devil's advocate, create some conversation for the show. I get it. That's why he's the controversy. John Levy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, my guy. Let me get it on over here. Appreciate you, my guy. He said, we're going to be all right. Jay from SC, South Carolina. I think the Knicks are definitely going to be all right. You know what I mean? I think that just Jalen Brunson, just having Jalen Brunson on the team, in my opinion, stops the Knicks from fully faltering. Like, if they would have done it in the past, I don't think they do now. Obviously, we've seen them go on some losing streaks this year, but clearly, they found a way to get out of those losing streaks and get back into winning. I don't want the Knicks to go on any kind of a losing streak after this game, but, it's natural for a team to lose 2 or 3 after going on a long winning streak. We've seen it happen all the time. I'm hoping that the Knicks can cut it to 1 and get back on the right path. Get back on the winning path. You know what I mean? Get back on the winning path. But anyway, the Knicks lose to the Charlotte Hornets. Whoever it was at the game preview said, hey, is this a trap game? It ended up being a trap game. It looked like a trap game to me. With the way, at first the Knicks were winning. They was up 15. But then when Charlotte started coming back and the Knicks didn't have that sense of urgency, that the lack of urgency is what made me feel like, hey, it was a trap. You know what I mean? Because the Knicks felt like the Knicks read the headlines a little bit maybe and felt like, yeah, we're going to pull this out anyway. Good lesson. Good lesson, I think. The type of lesson you need going to down the stretch of the season. And hopefully they learn from it. They've been learning from stuff all season long and applying it to their games. And I have no doubt in my mind that they'll do it again. No doubt. Chad B. Ryan said, Brunson is the king of urgency. I agree. Wish he played, but we could afford a loss like this. Thank God. That's the thing right there. Right? The Knicks are 12 games above 500. 12 games above 500. So, when you take a loss like this, it doesn't sting as much. The Knicks were 1 game above 500 and sitting in like the 7th seed or something like that, it would hurt. It would kill. It'd be bad. But because of where they are positioned right now, it doesn't sting as much. You know what I mean? And you can afford to learn a lesson and then say, all right, we learned this lesson. Now let's apply it in the next game. Not that the next game the Knicks are supposed to win, because the Sacramento's a good team, but they can apply it going forward. But anyway, man, Knicks take the loss. See if they can come back Thursday and get a win versus Sacramento. They start a 4-game West Coast trip. Right? They play. Who do they play? The Sacramento Kings. They play the Los Angeles Clippers.
Clippers, the Lakers.
The Lakers. Who else do they play during this trip?
Oh, I thought it was a 3-game trip. I think
it's a 4-game trip.
Is it? I'm not sure who else then.
Let me see. So the Knicks play the Sacramento Kings again. They're 38-26, third in the Western Conference. The Los Angeles Clippers 34-33, eighth in the Western Conference. The Lakers 31-34. They're currently 10th in the Western Conference. And let me pull up the Knicks schedule really quick, and I'll let you know who they play. I think it might be Portland. Let's see. They play. Yes, it's Portland. They play the Trailblazers. Yep. So they play the Kings, the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Trailblazers. And currently, the Portland Trailblazers are 31-34, tied with the Los Angeles Lakers, but they are currently 12th in the Western Conference. So
yeah, they're gonna be fighting. They're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, these are 4 tough games coming up.
Cam gonna want to prove something.
Yeah, these are 4 tough games coming up because all of these teams are battling for playoff or play-in position. And even though, the Trailblazers and the Lakers, I mean, they got LeBron. They're not worried about the lottery. The Trailblazers are kind of in the same boat with, they got Dame. They're not worried about the lottery. So they're fighting for play-in position. So these are going to be 4 battles.
It's funny.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking that every one of those teams are going to be rooting for us, except for against them.
Against them, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're going to be like, yeah, go Knicks.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then the Knicks come home and play the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, right? So those are 2 teams battling for playoff position. Then they play Miami, another team, of course, battling with the Knicks for playoff position. Then they, Orlando, Houston, then Miami again, Cleveland, Washington, Indiana, New Orleans, Indiana, right? So they play a lot of teams who are battling. I don't know if the Pacers are still battling for any kind of playoff position. The Wizards are playing. Did they play? Yeah, the Wizards, they're battling for playoff position. Of course, Cleveland and Miami are battling for playoff position. The Pelicans are battling for playoff position. Indiana, I guess you could say they still are battling for play-in position. All right, so the Knicks, here's the one thing that I do like. And the Knicks are in a good position. And if they're going and they're battling these teams, you go into the playoffs. You don't go into the playoffs having played teams that are just laying down for you.
Yeah, they battle tested. It's been a fight the whole ride.
Right, it's been a fight. So you have that mindset as you're entering the playoffs, right? Like your body, your mind, and your body is ready to battle. Where if you play like 5 games in a row of teams that are all tanking, you know what I'm saying, they just laid down for you, you might not go in with that same sense of urgency. So, I think the Knicks will be going into the playoffs with the right mindset based on their schedule. So there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Josh. He said the Knicks have won. Thank you for being a member for 22 months. I appreciate you for that. He said the Knicks have won by playing iso ball, largely due to the superstar play of Randle and Brunson. When those 2 are off, it's going to be hard for us to win. I think most teams in the NBA, when their star players are off, it's hard for them to win, though. Most teams in the NBA, it's like that. If their star players are off, it's hard for them. It's tougher for them to win the basketball game. I don't think it's any different for any other team in the league. I don't think it's it's not different for the Knicks. I don't think it's different for any other team in the league. Star players ain't hitting. It's gonna be tough to win basketball games. I mean, that's why they're the star players, because the pressure is on them to score every time they step out there on the floor. Jalen Brunson wasn't playing tonight, so you needed somebody to step up in that role. Julius Randle had an off night. You know, RJ Barrett had 27 points, but he wasn't really efficient. You know, it would have been nice if somebody else stepped up for the Charlotte Hornets tonight. You had 3 players play above their season's average. Right? 3 guys played above their season's average tonight. And Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, and Terry Rozier. You know, each one of those guys came in averaging 21 or less. Terry Rozier, 25 tonight. Kelly Oubre came into the game averaging 19 or 20, had 27 tonight. And Gordon Hayward came into the game averaging 14 and had 23 tonight. He was a guy I was worried about too. We talked about him in the game preview, Gordon Hayward, and came in, did it to the Knicks again, did it to RJ. We talked about RJ guarding that guy. But anyway, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, Tony. I appreciate your time, man. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate your time.
Always.
You know what I mean? The Knicks take the L tonight, but we'll see if they can get back on the right path, ladies and gentlemen, and go out to the West Coast and get a couple of wins. See what kind of position they come back home in, folks. I appreciate your time. We out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.